Hello and welcome to day 34. I'm still at home and it's been a good day in many ways. Still things that kind of clutter up my soul and make me have to practice all the things that I've been sharing. And I just decided today that tonight I'm going to tell you a story from a long time ago. It's one of my favorites. The boys were little, younger than they are now, obviously. What were they? Oh, I don't know. Probably elementary school age. And a friend of mine had always had us go up to Helen and tube. We'd done that several years with her family or with friends and stuff. But this one summer, nobody was doing it. So I thought, okay, I will. I'll just go with the boys. It was July 4th weekend, so the first mistake was thinking that I should go up to Helen and go tubing around July 4th. The second mistake was I think I went the wrong way. I don't know. Anyway, different way. But third mistake was, well, it wasn't really a mistake. It's just as we were approaching the city, there was just a ton of traffic, and it was so disheartening that there was so much traffic. And I was just really bummed. So here we are, tubing, going up to tube in Helen, Georgia, just me and the boys. I was been widowed several years at this point. I wasn't like new to being widowed. So that's why I thought, okay, I can do this. I can go off by myself. But so we get up and like we're in line to go to get on the bus, and it like took forever. And this tall, lanky guy and his family, they broke in line in front of us. It was so annoying. It was hot. There were too many people, and somebody breaks in line in front of me, and I am just fighting all kinds of annoying feelings by the time we get to the river. So we set our tubes in, and if you've ever done this where we had done it, there's a section of the river shortly after you put your tube in, where it's just a long stretch of calm water. There's no rush to it. Not that there's a lot of raging waters up in Helen, but this one stretch is particularly slow. And the boys, because they were lighter than me, they were drifting on ahead, and I was kind of behind, trying to keep up, but really couldn't. And there was this guy. Anyway, I almost hate to say this. I feel like now it's wrong, but somebody was smoking next to me, and I don't do well with smoke. It kind of clogs my sinuses and stuff. So not to put anyone down if you smoke, but this guy, it was just the fact that I'm on a river in the middle of nature fighting this smoke, and my kids are down the river, and I was kind of a little undone. Let's just say at that point I was feeling very, very alone as a widowed mom. Like nobody's there with me. The kids are having fun, that whole 9 yards. And so I knew to pray, and I knew to kind of do some of the stuff I told you I do. My whole, okay, Lord, I love you, Lord, and you love me. I love you, Lord, and you love me. Or, rehearse some scriptures or just try to tap into his presence. And not long after I had gotten to this place of miserableness, we went around a curve, and I had on a bathing suit that had flowers on it. I don't know if that's what it was, but anyway, this big butterfly comes and hovers over me, and it's kind of coming in, and I think it was hovering more at first than it was landing. Eventually, it landed on me, and it kept, it was unrolling its tongue. And as I think as we were approaching the first rapids, I ended up getting stuck because I was enamored by this butterfly that had come for a visit, and I thought for sure I'd lose him, and I get up and maneuver around, and he never left. He stayed. This butterfly stayed. So I get through the first rapids. I'm like, that's insane that the butterfly is still here, and yet the butterfly stayed. And so here I am on these rapids. I'd been really alone, and this butterfly has come for a visit. My boys are on ahead. And the next thing I know, I'm still traveling down, and this butterfly staying with me. And I think it must have been the second turn where I got really stuck. And the tall, lanky guy that I mentioned earlier, who had broken in line in front of us and it made me really mad, he ends up stopping his inner tube for me, and he gets out and he pushes me around. Now, I don't know if he saw the butterfly or he was just being nice to me, but it was great because I didn't have to move and scare the butterfly away. And so this butterfly, literally stayed with me for like 20 or 30 minutes down this river. It was the coolest thing ever. I've never had that happen before or since. But this butterfly just hovered close. And at some point, I think the boys and I, they were close. They weren't that far, but somewhere I saw them, and they got to see my friend, the butterfly. And then we stopped at some island somewhere along the way, about 20, 30, 40 minutes down the way. The butterfly did eventually fly away. But there was something very profound to me at that time that here I was feeling horribly alone on this trip and just kind of miserable, and God sent this butterfly to travel with me. And as a result of that, the tall, lanky man who'd made me mad helped me, I think, more than once to navigate the falls, so I didn't have to get out of my tube again to scare the butterfly away. So the guy who I thought was the bad guy became my friend, and we had this sweet time together. I'll show you. I bought this. If you've been to Helen, they sell these little stained glass pieces. And so when the boys and I were walking around Helen afterwards, Nathan and Sam saw that and were like, "Mom, you have to buy the butterfly." So I have this little butterfly that I keep on my shelf that's a reminder of the time of how God met me in that place of loneliness. And, it's not a fun place to be. And I think we all battle it from time to time. It's kind of a bummer. Sometimes I just want to think that I can figure that one out and never kind of feel alone and confused and uncertain. And yet, those emotions are part of the reality of living in this human body. So we have to keep fighting them off. Thus, I keep things like this little butterfly on my kitchen, on a shelf in my kitchen as a reminder. So anyway, I hope that you have some moments like that in your life that you have a chance to share with people, because I do think by telling the stories, they just encourage our own hearts that, hey, we aren't alone, and He has these divine ways just right when we need it to show us and to be there with us. And that's just one of my favorites. The day I rode the rapids with a butterfly. All right, I'm going to end with that and head off to bed. And again, I appreciate you all. It's day 34. We're closing in on 40. That's pretty exciting. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.